My name's David Coles and I'm the Technical Director at Superia Commerce. In this video I'm going to go through slideshow images which you can create directly in the Superia system. So first, if you go to Content and then Slideshows, and we'll go ahead and click the New to create a new slideshow. This will open up the edit screen. In slideshow name, we can give this any name we like, as this is for internal use only, so it won't actually be shown on the website. So we'll call this My First Slideshow, and we'll save straight away. The reason I've saved straight away is because it then opens up these two additional tabs. The first one is for images, which we'll go to straight away, and when you're in this tab you can click on New, and then this will open up the image editor screen. We can give the image a title. I'll call this one Slide 1. However, it's good to know at this point that the text that you enter into the image title will actually be used for the alt text for that image, so it would be good to use something quite descriptive and maybe throw some keywords in there as well. For the slide image, I'll go ahead and click on the yellow file icon, which will then open up the file manager so that you can select the actual images that you need. I've already uploaded several images here, so I'll go ahead and click on this first image, which will then be inserted into the box. We'll save and click back. Then you can see the image has been added to the list, and we can then do that again for the rest of our images. So I'll quickly select these two images as well. Actually, while we're here, it's worth noting that the images I've chosen to use are all the same width and height here. The reason for that is so that the slider looks quite smooth as it changes between the images. If you use images of different sizes, then you'll find some of your images might be resized to fit the width of the slider. So it's generally best to use the same width and height. So we'll make a note of these width and heights here. We'll see it's 940 pixels wide by 370 pixels high. And the reason I've actually made a note of those is because on the General tab, the second set of options here, Slideshow Dimensions, we can actually set the width and height of the slideshow. So if I put those in to match our images, 940 by 370, and then save, then there's the basic setup for a slideshow. There's no need to do any more work on the slideshow if you don't want to. This should produce a fairly good slideshow for the website. We'll just need to insert that name into one of the pages. So if we go to Content and then Pages, and we'll choose our home page and open the WYSIWYG editor for the page content. It's pretty clear at the moment, so if we just put the cursor where we'd like our slideshow to be, and then at the bottom down here we can see there's an option to insert a slideshow. So you just select the slideshow you've created from the drop down list, we've just got the one there, and then click Insert Slideshow. This will then insert a variable for that specific slideshow into the WYSIWYG. The slideshow doesn't actually work within the WYSIWYG editor itself, but once you've saved it and you view it from your website itself, then it will be changed into the actual slideshow. So if you go ahead and update those changes and save, and then when we view our home page, we'll just reload the page, and there's our slider. So you can see there's quite nice transition effects between those. So basically, that's all you need to do to create a slider. You can obviously put in more images if you need to, but those are the basics. If you want to see more advanced options for the slider, then stick around and we'll talk about those next. Okay, so now let's talk about the more advanced features of the slideshow. These are all optional features. As I said before, there's no need to do any more. But for instance, if we go to the images, we can see that there are some extra options here. We have thumbnails, links, and captions. So if you first go over the captions, if I edit slide 1, for example, we can create a caption for this using the WYSIWYG. For instance, we can just say, here is the first caption. We can update that, save, and now when we refresh, we'll see here's our caption for our first slider. And there it is again. So as it's a WYSIWYG, you can use HTML within the captions, so you can create links there. So for example, if we create a link and go to products, men's, for example, update that, save, and refresh, we'll see that's now a link which can go to the men's products. Okay, the other options are actual links on these slides themselves. So again, if we edit slide 2, we can actually create a link here, /products, /men's again, save, and again when we refresh, you'll see that the first slide isn't a link, but the second slide is. So you click that straight through to the men's products. Okay, the last option here are thumbnails. If we go to the general and just go down to control navigation, when this is enabled, this will show the number of the slides beneath the slider so that you can navigate between the slides manually. So straight to slide 3, slide 2 for example. When you enable thumbnails, that will change the numbers to use the thumbnails you've set for your images. So now I've enabled the thumbnails, I just need to make sure my images actually have thumbnail images set against them. So we do that on the third option down for our images. Choose the thumbnail, save, and I'll quickly do that for the other. Save, and then refresh. We should now see thumbnails at the bottom. So we can go directly to those different slides by clicking the thumbnails. We can alter the height of the control navigation. It's set to 50. That's not default. If we were to remove that, which we can do, then it would just be set to the height that the thumbnails are set to. There we go. Once you've set control navigation or directional navigation, which we'll talk about in a second, you can set this option here, manual advance. When this is selected, this will stop the automatic progression of the slideshow and only allow the control navigation or directional navigations to work when the user clicks links to advance the navigation themselves. When it's unticked, it'll obviously be automatic as well. So if we talk about directional navigation, similar to the control navigation, however, you can only go to either the previous or the next slides. To do this, it will just place a link onto the slides themselves with the text that you enter here, the default being prev and next. So if we just quickly save, so we can see how that looks on the site. And there we go. We now have a previous and next link. So if I click those, you can just go to the next slide or the previous. And you can easily change this text to anything you like, and it should update to that previous. There we go. You can set the slider to also pause when the mouse is over the slider itself. This helps when there's information on the images that needs to be read, and maybe the pause time for the slides to show isn't long enough. So when the user hovers their mouse over the slider, it will pause on that slide until the mouse is removed, making it easier for them to read what's on the slide. You can also increase the actual pause time. At the moment it's set to 3 seconds, but you can set this to be any number of seconds that you wish. And then we also have these slideshow transitions. These are the actual animations that occur between the slides. At the moment it's set on random, but you can set it to be a specific animation from the list. But when it's on random, any one of these will be used every time the animation occurs. And then you have advanced options for slice animations and also for box animations. You can also alter the animation speed between the slides. At the moment it's set to half a second, but you can increase or decrease this if you wish. Okay, and lastly we have the Advanced tab. Here you can apply additional CSS to the slider if you wish to alter the previous and next buttons to be images, or you'd like the control navigation to also be images. You can update the CSS here to do that. And you can also add in some JavaScript functionality on different events that occur during the slideshow, such as before a slide changes, after a slide changes, when the slideshow ends, on the last slide, and once the slider has loaded. So all these are really advanced options and should only be altered if you have CSS or JavaScript knowledge. So that's it really for the slideshow. If you need any more help with these slideshows, then you can always get in touch with us, and we'll be pleased to answer any further questions that you have. I hope this hasn't been too boring of a tutorial for you, and it's been informative. Hopefully we'll get some more of these videos completed for you in the future, so that you can find your way around the system much easier. Okay, so thanks for listening.